Welcome back, everybody. As many of you guys know, I'm a law enforcement trainer and instructor. I train and instruct military and law enforcement all over the country on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics, use of force, criminal investigations, etc. And this video brings me no joy to make. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the issues that we see within law enforcement, and one of the biggest precipices of this problem is training. And so we're gonna dive into it just barely. We're gonna scratch the surface, and undoubtedly this is gonna make law enforcement upset. Some of the solutions that I mention and bring up are gonna make everyday citizens probably not happy as well, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, until we're willing to look at this from a realistic and from reality, we can't expect to see any real substantive changes. So bear with me and let's get started.
Keep breathing, Travis. Keep your breathing going.
Keep breathing.
Slow down, breathe.
Keep breathing. Awful smell in it. Keep smelling like old paint. Who's the steak on?
Good job. Keep breathing. Good job.
I'm just waiting for that to be done.
Stuck at it.
Keep breathing.
Good job.
Get encouraging. Right. Good job. Relax, Travis. Breathe. Good job.
Oh, Satan.
Let's go. Come on. We're about 10 steps. You gotta keep it. One more. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Deep breath.
Now let me just further expand on this. The purpose of this video is not to shame any individual law enforcement officer. It's not to shame police departments into changing. That's not the purpose of that. The purpose of this video is to show this is realistic OC training that is happening all over the country. All over the country, this is the type of OC training we're seeing. We're seeing the law enforcement cadet, recruit, what have you, the new applicant candidate being sprayed with a little bit of OC spray, gets to wipe it off a little bit, and then he goes through these ridiculous, mostly choreographed defensive tactic posture and moves, and then goes to handcuff a pretty much fully submissive, compliant suspect. And that's what we're seeing all over the country. That is what law enforcement is training. And we can go into the many reasons why they're training that. That's not the purpose of this video. But by and large, the purpose of most police training is to equate 100% success rate. That is what trainings do. If you look at police trainings all over the country, they're 100% designed, no matter what, to pass candidates. And I believe that's what we saw here. So this is the training that they're getting when responding to being pepper sprayed by an assailant. And then now we're going to see what happens in real life. Stay tuned.
And then next time you see me, it'll have it.
Light gray box at the bottom.
Light gray.
Yeah, just down there. Perfect. Not an admission of guilt, just stating that you show up on or before the court date, okay?
I don't have to, as long as it's paid.
Stop!
Evan, start me another. Start me another.
Stop! Stop!
Nothing left. Just do me a favor, man. I f***ed up my life.
Yes!
I only ask.
What do you need? Take the knife away from him.
Sir? I only ask.
Say drop it. Sir, drop it.
You do me this favor.
Sir, drop it. Drop it, sir. Sir, drop it. Please drop it. Please, don't hurt anybody. Please, in the name of God. Get on my radio. Please don't drop anybody. Don't drop it. Sir, drop it. Sir, drop it. Stop.
Shoot me, man. I got nothing to live for. 22?
Yes, you do, buddy. You have everything to live for.
No.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be in prison today. but I ain't doing that.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Stop, dude.
Help him. He's been stabbed. He's been stabbed.
You okay?
He's been stabbed.
614 medical.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hold his arm. Hold his arm.
Yep.
Don't you move. You understand me?
I got him. I got him. Get up. Get up. You need help. You need help, sir. Really bad.
I got nothing left.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Shoot.
Yep.
Roll him over.
Got him. Come on. Come on.
Get on your stomach now.
Here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
He's getting that arm from me.
I've been moving more. I've been stabbed.
I'm about to tase him. Hold on my arm. You okay, buddy? Hold what you got.
Yep.
Hold what you got.
I got him.
614. We need more units.
Tase it. Nope. Tase him, dude. Tase the shit out of him.
Get that other arm. Bring that other arm back. Bring that other arm back. Come on. Bring it back.
Kill me, man.
Bring it back. I'm gonna tase you again.
Get him. Okay.
Bring that arm back. Do it now.
All right.
Bring that arm back. Do it now. Get him help. Hey, he's bad. He's bad. Get him help.
So in this video, we saw that an Edmond, Oklahoma police officer was conducting a traffic stop, was getting the driver to sign the ticket stating that they're going to appear or address the ticket either before court or during court. And at that time, he was then approached by a man who wanted to die by suicide, right? That was his intent, was to be killed by law enforcement because he's having, quote, a bad day. And so we can see how quickly this changed and escalated. And as we can see, there is a difference between the look and command presence of the first officer versus this Edmond police officer. And again, the purpose of this is not to shame anybody. That's not the purpose of this video. But the purpose of this video, I think, if it tells us anything, it's when somebody is ready to end everything. Even though we can see there is definitely a difference in command presence between these two officers, he had no problem going up to a really big, stout, athletic, muscular-looking officer and going to town, right? So if he's willing to do that with this larger officer, there's no doubt for the first officer, he would have been totally willing to do the same. The question is, who would have survived the encounter? Right? This person pepper sprayed the officer and then attempted to stab the officer with a knife. And as you can see, the second officer was stuck like a pig. You know, he was bleeding. And when the cover officers arrived, they had to no less tase the suspect and then say, hey, our partner's in really bad shape. So my question to you is, do you believe the first officer would have survived that encounter? Do you think there is a chance that this assailant would have been able to overpower him? Based upon how he presented himself during that OC spray training, I think that there is a very high likelihood that that assailant would have been able to stab him to death or take his firearm. And again, I'm not trying to shame anybody. My job is to give you the reality. That's it. And if you don't like the reality, that's fine. My job here is not to appease you. It's not to appease law enforcement. It's not to appease the citizenry. It's to give you the truth. Because at the end of the day, that's all I can go down with is the truth. Right? And so here we definitely see that different training matters, and the training requirements matter, and what that officer is capable of doing matters. So is this just a one-off, or is the Edmond Police Department doing something different than other police departments around the country? Well, I can't speak with any intimate knowledge of that because I have not worked for wherever the first officer worked for, nor have I ever worked for the Edmond Police Department. But I can tell you something very interesting that I do notice being a trainer and instructor in the state of Oklahoma and having numerous contacts with instructors all over the country. And I'll tell you this, on face value, here are a few things that I think are interesting. So one of those differences that I see right off the bat is you can see and you can tell by Edmunds recruiting and their standardization program, and that you can go to their website and you can look at all this too. I'm just going to provide a few screenshots for you so you can see right here. But even if you are certified, so it takes somebody like myself who holds multiple college, university degrees, as somebody who is an advanced cert police officer, somebody who is a state instructor, somebody who is a federal law enforcement instructor, somebody who has many years and accolades, all the things you'd put on a freaking resume, right? I wouldn't be able to lateral over to the Edmond Police Department unless I completed their 21-week police academy and I completed their FTO process that, according to them, can go from 4 to 6 months before I would even be eligible to be a solo police officer on the street. Right? That is much different than what we're seeing here in Eastern Oklahoma, for example. There are many agencies, and this is going to surprise a lot of you people, but again, I'm just going to give you the truth. There's a lot of agencies around here in Eastern Oklahoma, for example, and all over the state of Oklahoma that will get a brand new guy. He or she may have never been to a formal academy, may never even been to a reserve academy, but as long as they complete a field training packet, right? They do a little field training packet. It's a little binder, a little packet that has different elements of instruction that need to be reached. They can drive around solo just as long as there is a supervisor on duty. I mean, that's real life. I'm not at all. I know a lot of you guys are just losing your minds right now. I am by no means joking. 110%. Don't believe me. Ask your police friends. That actually happens in real life. And so there is a huge difference in training and standardization, for example, for the Edmond Police Department, right? Even a guy like me who is certified to instruct their department, certified to accredit continuing education hours to their department, I would not be able to be a police officer and drive around until I've completed a 21-week academy through their program standardization and until I complete a 4 to 6 month FTO process. And there's no exceptions. Again, laterals from other states. It doesn't matter if you have 20 years on an NYPD as a SWAT officer. It doesn't matter if you are a Oklahoma advanced certified officer with a law degree, right? It wouldn't matter. They don't care. You have to go through their complete standardization program. And so you can tell by having that stance, they are insulating themselves from outside training. Whether that's good or bad, they have to do it. And I think that if you are honest, what's the likelihood, for example, what's the likelihood that you're going to get a bunch of officers from other places that, for example, are an advanced certified officer that are a federal law enforcement trainer, state trainer, and have a law degree? Right? The likelihood is they're going to be an officer with a couple of years on that have been certified through the state. And so in all reality, this actually makes more sense because if you look at it from just a traditional standpoint, the idea that you're going to get these police officers that have law degrees and advanced certifications, are pretty few and far in between. So if the majority of what they're getting are just state certified officers, this makes it very clear that that standard is not something that they hold at high value, right? Because if they did, why would they have this, right? I believe they have it. And again, I don't know. I'm just speculating here, right? I'm just giving what makes sense. They have it because, number one, they can have standards, right? They don't have a recruiting issue, and they want to maintain the line. They want to hold the line. And so that's exactly what that tells you right there. Even if you look at other agencies, most other agencies accept lateral transfers. For example, even the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, they still make you go through an academy, but their academy it's a 13-week lateral academy versus a 21-week lateral academy. And then there's other agencies where you can just, you're certified? Okay, go through our compressed field training manual program, maybe a week or two on the street, and then you'll be solo. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying for an agency to have this tight of a standard is saying, we care about standardization and you will be trained to this standard irrespective of where you come from. So if you have more training than us, great, you're going through it anyway, right? And so they're able to do that because they don't have a recruiting crisis issue. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why don't they have a recruiting issue? Well, let's touch on that next. Let's look at that. So again, let's quickly go through this. Again, my job is not to, I have no way, shape, or form affiliated with the Edmond Police Department. I don't do any recruiting for them. I have no affiliation with them. But I do think it's interesting because a lot of things that I do advocate for are based around, if you want to hire a quality officer, you have to pay them and you have to increase the standards. And until we are willing to look at that, just even from a hypothetical standpoint, we're really not going to get where we need to be. And that's just the honest part of it. And I know that people that are probably watching this, that, your everyday citizen, not in law enforcement, you're like, there's no way I'm giving more money to law enforcement. And that's fine. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just telling you, if we want to change this, if we want to change the standard officer we have to look at everything. You can't just look at it from a one-sided be better, right? You can't look at it from that perspective. And so, I mean, you can, we're not going anywhere. But if you look at the starting salary, right, $68,000 a year. So I bet you if you look at the starting salary and then you're looking at the topped out salary of, for example, where that first officer is working, I think we're going to see a huge disparity. In fact, I would even say that this department probably makes 2 to 3 times more money starting than what that first officer probably makes. And again, this is coming from the state of Oklahoma, right? This pay is fractional compared to what you would see in New York, Texas, California, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, etc. It's fractional. It's fractional at best. And so the pay is very good. And then top payout is extremely good for Oklahoma, right? $17,000. That's not including your incentive pays, special duty pays, that kind of thing. So you can see the city of Edmond understands that if they want to have some longevity here, they have to pay. And they are willing to pay, which explains why we see that there is a difference between that officer and this officer. There's a difference. And I think that you have to realize if you want the officer that looks more like the second guy, you have to be able to pay for it. You're going to get what you pay for, kind of thing. Again, I know people don't like that. Man, I'm just here to give you brass tacks, man. I'm not here to appease anybody. If you look at benefits, right, take-home car program's huge. Here's something that you don't see very often: tuition reimbursement, college incentive pay. They provide firearms. That's pretty standard. Full health benefit program. That's something that you don't. This may surprise you. That's something that is very. I look at that, somebody who's older, who has a family, that's a huge incentive. My last department only provided health care for me, not for my dependents, and my health care was not that great. There are many times I was denied different services because they just didn't want to pay for it. So having a full health care program is huge. Having a free health clinic, you can see at the bottom, is huge. A pension plan, right? All these things are extremely well. And a pension plan is great, especially if you are able to, if you're going to stay vested and you're going to actually retire from a police department, and your pension plan is, 50-60% of your salary. Well, if you're topped out at 117 and you're making 60% of that after retirement, that's pretty good compared to if you're topped out pay at a Eastern Police Department's $40,000, which is probably what it is for most people that are sergeants. Maybe it's $45,000 a year topped out pay for somebody who spent 20 to 30 years of their life for a police department, and they're going to get 50-60% of that. It's crazy, but this is actually happening, right? If you look at my last department, going to academy, those officers are making $14.50 an hour. Okay, starting pay here is $68,000 an hour. A sergeant there probably make $21 an hour. The starting officer here makes more than a sergeant there, right? And so when we look at this in totality, it seems like Edmond's doing what they can to ensure that they not only grab officers, but they keep them, and then they are investing in what they want to see. We want to see education, so we're going to motivate you to do it by paying you more. So if you decide that you're going to pursue a degree or an advanced degree, we're going to make it worth it. We're going to pay you to do it, and we're going to reimburse you to do it. If you want to be a part of a special program, we're going to pay for you to do it. We're going to stay competitive with anybody around us that might try to steal you from us. If you're looking at where you're going to get good training and good officers from, again, if we're looking at it logically, if I want to keep the best talent, what do? I pay you better than what other people are going to pay you. I insulate you from those other, and again, that's horrible to say, and I get that, and I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but I'm saying it for me, what my opinion is, right? I want to insulate you from other training programs that I don't think are beneficial to what we're doing. And how do I do that? Well, I don't care where you come from. You're still doing all our stuff. You're going to get on our program because we pay the most. We give out the most. So if you want to be part of our team, you got to get with our program. You know what I mean? And so if you have officers that are lateraling to Edmond PD, they completely know all my training experience is good for what I do, but I'm still going to have to start all over again, and I'll have to showcase that I do know what I'm talking about. And again, insulating yourself from what you would perceive as bad, bad training habits, and paying them better than anybody else, giving them better benefits and motivating them to continue down that trail. Man, it's there's something to be said about that. And so again, I'm not here to advertise any department, but if you are the department, these are the departments that are winning. Because as far as I know, Edmond does not have a recruiting issue at all. Historically, I can't remember a time where they ever did. So they're obviously doing something to insulate themselves from what the rest of law enforcement nationwide is seeing. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Obviously, we know that there is a training issue with law enforcement. I don't think anybody's denying it. And if they are, cool, they're behind the power curve. But ultimately, there is a training deficit. There is a standardization issue that it needs to be looked at. We are seeing that there are many people in law enforcement that are saying the overall standard is too low. I'm one of those people. I believe the overall law enforcement standard that is out there is just too low. And I think that's evident by the fact that I could get any officer out of the academy, sit them down and ask them 10 basic questions about constitutional law that I think are important, right? When can you detain somebody? When can you compel ID? What are the different elements of what is the First Amendment? What are the elements of the First Amendment? If you can't answer basic questions like that, but you're entrusted with a gun and badge and to uphold the law, that's scary to me. I mean, that's just, it's beyond frightening. I'm just being honest with you. Again, this is my opinion. This is not the opinion of anybody else around me. It's just my own opinion. And so I do believe that there is a standardization problem. And so there are many people like me that maybe are brave enough to say, yeah, I think there is a standardization problem. And then there's others that have to play more of a political, landscape game and say, well, I'm not going to come out and say it, but I will say if you want to work for our organization, we're not going to send you through the state's academy. We're not going to do that. We don't believe in that. You're going to go through our own in-house academy, and we don't care if you're a lawyer. We don't care if you're an advanced cert police officer. We don't care if you're an astronaut. We don't care if you're a Navy SEAL. We don't care if you're a Tier 1 Delta operator. We don't care about any of that. You still have to go through our entire program, and then once you graduate from our training academy, you're going to do 4 to 6 month FTO program, and then you can go on our streets and defend our citizenry and protect our citizenry and enforce and be a law enforcement officer at the very basic standard. So there's different ways that people go about saying it, right? So overall, again, I think these are all things that we need to look at because clearly there is a difference in how the first officer was trained and how the second officer was trained. And I think that's evidently clear. And I think, and this is just me, I do believe the standard of training that the first officer received was pointless. Outside of him knowing what it's like to be sprayed with a little bit of OC spray, I don't believe that it provided any good functional training. I don't think it actually prepared him for the fight ahead. It looks like going through the motions to get a check in the box. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of training is in law enforcement. And until we are willing to address that, things aren't going to change. So that's all I have for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what are your thoughts in the comment section below. Am I wrong? Do we think that the first training program was sufficient? Do you think I'm wrong about that? Do you think I'm wrong about increasing pay and standards? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's where this conversation continues. I hope you guys have a good one. As always, guys, long live the Republic.